The severe rain that lashed the island on the weekend has left the National Works Agency with a long to-do list. Speaking at the office of the Prime Minister on Monday, NWA Communication and Customer Services Manager Stephen Shaw provided an overview of the road conditions across Jamaica.
We would have been responding to situations across 11 parishes. We have been able to reopen many of the corridors that were impacted by landslides, those that would have been impacted by flooding. There is little that we can do but to await the flood waters to recede. Where it is that drains need to be cleaned, we are mindful of this and will be proceeding to clean those drains. There are some areas that are naturally low-lying, and we have to allow for nature to take its course for the waters to recede naturally.
Mr. Shaw spoke to areas of extreme flooding such as Bog Walk Gorge as well as in Clarendon.
We have a major situation with the Bog Walk Gorge. The gorge is still closed. It is being impacted by a combination of boulders and heavy siltation. We have road crews working there with a view to having it reopened as quickly as possible. In Clarendon, we have situations both in the northern reach and the southern reach. In the north, the road from Thompson Town to Victoria is being impacted by a failed structure, so it is closed. We have water that is receding nonetheless in Annan Town, but while the water is receding in Annan Town, it's rising at Bog Hole, and so it is that situation now that we are watching. In the south, our main concern would be with the Alley Bridge. A section of the approach was washed out. It's a high ford. Whenever the Riamino is in spate, alley usually becomes impassable, but passable after the flood waters recede. Just that in this case, the waters would have receded, but it has left significant damage to the approach to the Alley Bridge. So right now, that structure can only accommodate traffic in a single lane fashion.
There was also special mention of the flood-prone Portland Cottage as well as areas in St. Thomas.
And we also have to be looking at the situation in the Portland Cottage area, where we have experienced flooding in perennially, and floodwaters there continue to be on the rise, and so we want to pay attention to that. In the east, St. Thomas, we still have challenges moving between Hector's River and Morant Bay. Flooding is impacting that particular corridor. It's also a challenge heading from Seaforth to Trinityville to Cedar Valley. The good thing, though, is that work is taking place to build a more resilient infrastructure at Coley in the form of a bridge that we're putting up. And we are hopeful that within a matter of some weeks, we'll be able to be in a position to ensure that even if it rains at the level that we have seen over the last few weeks, passage through the Coley community will be assured with the structure that we are putting up there. When we look at these corridors, the Hagley Park Road, Constant Spring Road, Camp Road, the road from Ferris to Macfield, all of these major roads would have stood up appreciably during the onslaught of the last 2 days as it relates to heavy rains.